All right, I'm going to call the Monday, February 3rd, Parks and Recreation Commission meeting to order. Before we get started, I'd like to make two changes to the agenda, if somebody would do that for me. Number one, we want to add Michael Malatesta to our agenda. He has a Boy Scout project that he would like to present to us. And I would also like to add an executive session at the end.
I will make...
It's for an Eagle Scout project, is that correct? You said
Michael,
Boy
yes.
Scout, and I just heard
Eagle Scout, yes.
Yep, thank you.
I will make a motion to add new business C, Michael Malatesta Eagle Scout Project, and D, executive session.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So also, let's move Michael.
Okay, I was going to
Go
say,
ahead.
can I make a motion to move Michael Malatesta Eagle Scout Project to now, so that he does not have to stay for all of this?
Yes. Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All in favor, go for it. Michael, you're up. If you would go to the microphone, that would be very helpful.
All right, so, talk to the microphone.
Yeah.
Can you sing a Boy Scout song or something? Oh, good.
Maybe later. So the project I am doing is, like I'm calling it, the Soccer Fest Shed. So the description for my project is I will be building a shed for Guilford Soccer Club, and the shed's purpose will be to hold all of the Soccer Fest equipment to run the tournament, including coolers, tents, pumps, and soccer balls. So if you don't know what Soccer Fest is, you've been living in a rock. And also, it started off as a girls-only tournament in Guilford. It was one of the first tournaments for girls for soccer, and it started off in Guilford. It has recently allowed boys to play, so it's boys and girls now, and it is attended by approximately, usually a minimum of about 50 teams every year, from both in and out of state. It is a non-for-profit tournament, and it depends on the support of local businesses in Guilford. Some of the ways these Guilford businesses support Soccer Fest is one of the main goals of Soccer Fest is to give out 3 scholarships to Guilford high school girls and give them scholarships for school. Another thing about Soccer Fest is it brings thousands of people actually to Guilford in areas such as the Guilford Town Green, Jacobs Beach, local schools and fields, the Guilford Town Marina, Dudley Farm, Thomas Griswold House, and Lake Quantipoc. So the reason I'm doing this project is the shed where Soccer Fest was containing all their equipment before was kind of like a lent space. So a lot of their materials and equipment was kind of the space it was held in was like kind of given to them. So now I guess whoever is lenting us the space is now saying like we kind of need the space now. It's not like just we don't got extra space anymore basically. So there's 2 ways that they could go about it. They could find another person to lend them space, and it's a lot of stuff, so it's kind of like it'd be a lot of space to lend someone, or the other idea is to build a shed, and that's my idea. So it helps the beneficiary, which is the Guilford Soccer Club, because they won't have to pay for that shed, because as I said, they're a non-for-profit, so it's kind of hard for them to pay for the shed, and they won't have to depend on anyone else to run the tournament. And it is harder to run the tournament as time goes on. People, it just make it easier for people to run it. So I plan on carrying out this project, like the start of like building it, somewhere in about April, and time could be changed. It's not set in stone, but about April for now. I plan on ending this project like June, July time, somewhere in the summer. For the people that are going to be getting this project done, I've got support from my Boy Scout troop, and I will have 5 to 8 people helping me at all times and adult leaders to get this project done. The shed will be located at Calvin Leet, kind of next to the shed that's there now. So right now Soccer Fest already has a shed there, and I plan on building another one there. And I'm gonna make it so it's not like there's one shed that like look completely different from the other one. I'm gonna try to make them look quite similar. I'm gonna build them pretty much the same way. So as me and Rick were talking about, some of the permits and permissions I'm gonna be needing to get is the possibly Board of Ed, wetlands, planning and zoning, and then I guess I would need permission from you guys. Yeah. So the cost, when I did kind of like a general estimate of like the size of the shed, which would be about no bigger than I think we were saying 12 by 16, and we said it should cost anywhere from $1,500 to $2,700, which is a pretty wide span, but we'll get that set in stone, really how much it's going to cost once we're like really getting it done, getting the blueprints done, what the materials are going to cost. The way it's going to be funded is I'm going to create a GoFundMe, which will cover all the expenses. I'm going to pay for the whole thing through GoFundMes, which will be sent out through my Boy Scout troop. So people from my Boy Scout troop will donate, people from my family will donate, I'm sure, and at least if they love me. And then I'm sure there's many other people that'll donate to Soccer Fest because it's been for many years. So I don't think donations should be a very big problem. To talk about like the phases of my project, right now I'm in the second phase. The first phase was I had to get permission from my Boy Scout troop to do this, make sure it was kind of set all the requirements and it was good. So I've got that, and the second phase is the permits and permissions phase, which I'm currently in. After this, I will be making the final like blueprints, figuring out exactly what I'm going to do, what it's going to look like. Then I will start the fundraising, buy materials, and then prepare to build the shed with I believe the shed is, the foundation is gravel, which, like I said before, we want to try to make it look a lot like this other one, so it's not like these two different sheds. So I believe it's gravel. Obviously, we're going to check that before you buy gravel or whatever. So it's going to be the same foundation, and then the building of the shed, what will happen next, then the making of interior shelving, and then lastly, the moving of the equipment from the old shed to the new shed. That is the end of my presentation. You guys have any questions?
The shed that's currently there, that's used by Soccer Club, not Soccer Fest, right?
No.
Okay. And then, have we talked to Board of Ed about the property?
I have a call to Cliff Gordon and find out if they're going to need to, approve it also. We haven't heard back yet. He just emailed me, Saturday, I think, on this. I called Cliff today and wasn't able to reach him. I left a message from let me know.
Is my only concern thinking about, because I help with soccer, is there enough space? Because I know wetlands is not right on the other side, but unless they're abutting each other. And then on the other side is that clay dump. So.
I met with your mother out there last fall, I think. We looked, when she first brought this idea of, not about him doing, but having a shed out there. It's basically what's happened. There's a town-owned barn that lacrosse, I think it's just lacrosse and Soccer Fest have been using for years.
Okay.
Football used to use it, now they have the barn that they.
Okay, right.
And so the town, I think, is looking for needing that space for something. I don't know what, it's not under us, but,
Ah,
so they're
okay,
asking the
that's
two
gonna be my
groups to
question.
move out, so they're looking for a place to put everything. A question, if you don't mind, Rose, one other question. So one of the ideas that your mother had was possibly attaching it to the existing shed, kind of joining them together. Is that what you're thinking, or totally freestanding, separate?
So I'm kind of open to both ways. It's all about whether I can actually do that. I was talking to my dad, who's a carpenter, and I guess we kind of have to check it out to see if we could actually just attach another kind of space to it, and whether if that's possible. If that's possible and it's not going to be a huge hassle, I'd rather do that because it'll look nicer and it won't be like these two sheds. Like, why didn't they just build one? Yeah.
Right, so you got the shed and then one coming into it, sort of.
Yeah.
And this is smaller, too. It's 12 by 16. I think the ones there now is much longer than that.
Yeah.
And if you guys have never been to Soccer Fest, it's huge.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing. And a lot of work goes into it, so it's been around forever.
Lawrence?
Too good. Calvin Lee, is that the over here, or is that, I get them mixed up? Okay, so why does he have to ask us for permission? That's Board of Ed, right? I mean, on their property? Obviously, there's a reason why,
Back, and that's why I'm
because we
thinking
maintain
we
it.
have to maybe check with the Board of Ed, too, because I was told a while back that all school properties are really town property anyway. It's all town property, and the town, we take care of it. We mow it, we take care of the fields and everything. So I think it was important for this commission to say yes or no to it, and then we'll check out if the Board of Ed needs to weigh in or not. That's up
Yeah.
to, I'll see what Cliff says about that. This is the first stop, the first visit.
And the equipment, I assume, is stored there 12 months of the year?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
stored year round?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will make a motion to move forward with Michael Malatesta's Eagle Scout project based on Board of Ed requirements, and that we leave room of $250 for fundraising, should he need it.
Second? Any other discussion, guys? John, you have something?
Actually, I was going to request, rather than 250, I was going to ask 500. Simply just to offer some seed money to the GoFundMe page. And just as a basic, because we've funded other Boy Scout projects with a little bit more help than that. So my request would be 500.
Is that okay with you?
Fine by me. Do you want me to make my motion?
We could just amend it.
Okay, I'll amend my motion that Michael Malatesta has $500.
I'll re-second it.
We're on the roll tonight, guys, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. So just sort of keep us informed of how it's going and what permits and
Yep.
things.
All right.
Just keep us in the loop.
If I were to ask you guys, where I would go next for the permits and stuff, I got kind of told if I went just right into what's it called? What town?
Planning and zoning?
Or
Yeah.
inland wetlands?
I just got told I could walk in there and kind of ask a lot of questions and really find out a lot just by walking in.
To Town Center South, yes,
Mhm.
you can.
Figure out what I gotta
They will
do.
be very helpful there,
All right.
yes.
But I think even before you go there, we have
Let's-
to find out from Cliff Gurnham if
Yeah,
the
let's
Board
check
of
out with the
Ed
Board of Ed first
will share
before-
that land.
Check that with me, later in the week, and I can help you. It's the wetlands. It'll be the Wetlands Commission first to approve it, and that would be Kevin McGee. Get in touch. I can get you all the
He'll
numbers
send you
and
the
stuff.
right people in the right place.
Yeah.
Michael, which troop are you from? I just didn't.
471.
Where's everyone?
Are you related to Wiley?
Yeah,
Who's that?
that's my nephew. Yeah.
Okay, good job,
Thank
Michael.
you.
Thank you very much.
You did. That's why your name's familiar.
Okay, any other public forum?
Great job.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak? Okay. Correspondence. All right, we have, we have a really wonderful letter from George Schmeisel, is that his name? Thanking the community center and Terry for some really wonderful memories that he had doing senior things. That was a beautiful letter. And then we have a letter from Ellen Crean thanking the maintenance staff for setting up for her sing-along. She does a great job with that. And I love it because she said the acoustics in the room were better than ever.
With our new ceiling.
Our new ceiling. And it was only half done, because I had lunch, came to one of the lunches, and I sat just before this, and we were talking about that. And we noticed even this Friday, we had a large group in there, and the acoustics were far better than they've ever been, so it was great. It's great. And lastly, we have a letter from Kathy McKenzie, thank you, who didn't understand why we needed the splash pad, but I think Rick answered it quite well, telling her it was a community project and the popularity of them. What is not here, and I just want to let you know about, is that Matt received 3 or 4 emails?
4 or 5.
Whatever, from a few people who are not happy that we will be having our horse and carriage ride around the green at our Winterfest because they feel that this is cruel to the horses. I think Matt thanked them, you thanked them, and we did look into this, and the place that provides the horses is at Allegra Farms, and he takes phenomenal care of his horses. I mean, he rents them out for movies, he's wonderful, and he didn't feel that this is a problem. So I think we haven't changed our plans as of yet, mostly because we feel that the people that we are using are doing a great job and are not abusing the horses.
And that event is on February
18th. And we did even talk, we talked with Terry as well, who raises horses. So we did look into it, just to let you all know.
So I don't know horse, but I assume that the horses enjoy getting the exercise and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is that what Terry, I assume, said?
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
The horses that they'll probably be using are draft horses as well, which are work horses.
Yeah.
Work horses work 12 months of the year.
Well, some do, some don't.
Well, my wife and I have owned horses, and there is no, they have a winter coat, they grow a winter coat, okay, they get groomed with the winter coat.
Absolutely.
I think the standard that I would use for excellence would be the carriage races that you have at Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
Those horses are maintained and they're constantly veterinary checked and farrier checked.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we're not dragging horses out of a barn somewhere out of North Guilford. These are maintained.
These are well maintained.
Yes.
Actually, Rick told me that when he actually called the guy to talk about this, there was a chiropractor there working on the horse.
Yes.
I assume, too, that they're obviously regulated by the state of Connecticut. I
I
would
would
guess, right? I
assume.
mean,
I would assume that.
yeah.
This guy, his, you ever seen Little Women, the movie Little Women? All the horses and wagons, Little Women are his.
Are his.
And he's in it, driving the wagons. He's in the movie. He's been in
The most recent one?
Amistad,
He's been in a lot.
The Greatest Showman, a lot of Hallmark movies, TV shows.
Yeah.
He's sought after for his horses and his wagons because of what he does.
And another endorsement I would have would be Sturbridge Village. They have horse and carriage rides all throughout the winter. We were there 2 years ago. It was about 20 degrees, and outside at night, carriages were there, and they were full.
Mackinac Island in Michigan, horses all summer long.
Mhm.
But we've been there, and they work a few hours a day. Every day they get a bath. They're well taken care of. It's like-
Mystic Seaport.
So they're well taken care of. So we don't feel this is a problem, I guess is what we're saying. Okay.
Before we had SUVs, we had horses. Okay?
And they got horsepower.
And they got a horsepower.
All right, can we get a motion to approve the minutes of January 6th?
I'll make a motion to approve January 6th meeting minutes.
Okay, do we have any corrections, any additions, any discussion? Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Any oppo-
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay. All right, review of our bills and expenditures.
like the color coding
Yes,
that Nancy
very
does?
nice.
Yes, it is easy on the brain.
All right, so have any questions on the,
Unusual stuff.
on the,
I was just curious where, on this, whatever, on page 2, when it says stencil templates, is that for
where it says what?
stencil under
Stencil?
Amazon Business? What is that?
On page, what color is it, orange
It's
or
purple.
purple?
Purple,
Number
under
2.
I mean, it's a very
brown.
small
Oh,
fee, so
stencil,
I'm just
stencil
curious what it
templates.
is.
Stencil templates, that, I believe that was for the old trash barrels that we have, not the new ones we bought. It's to label them trash
Oh,
or
okay.
recycling.
There's a small amount, but I just
Yeah.
was curious what it
You
was.
just wonder what these things are.
Yeah.
I thought you said dental plates.
No.
I said, no, nobody
That
got
would have been an
those.
unusual term, right?
That's for the horses.
Unusual on here.
So a motion to accept the bills, expenditures?
I'll make a motion to accept the January 2020 bills for everything in the amount of.
I will second that.
All in favor?
We've been ordering some stuff from Amazon, we're finding the prices are lower, and
Yeah.
that's why we're getting some things there. You might see them periodically,
That's okay.
some bills.
Doing your due diligence.
That's
Good.
Works for us, right?
Actually, I have a question. Okay, if we're supporting our local townspeople versus Amazon, I would stick with the local townspeople. That's just a personal prejudice.
Yeah.
I'd rather do small town, Page Hardware versus Amazon.
Well, but I don't think they had the stencils that we were looking for.
Well, no, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that if we had to weigh the difference between the
Oh,
two,
yeah.
I don't know what the break-even point from a percentage would be as to what would be more beneficial for
Yeah.
us for a budget pay versus, but I would prefer.
No, I agree, and you'll see there's some, we got about $500 of bills from Pages too, so
Yeah,
we
we
were
did.
supporting them,
Yeah,
and Tractor
what you're
Supply.
saying is cheaper in the long run.
I don't think it's cheaper, I just think it's our townsfolk that we're supporting.
And they give back.
And they give back.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, look at
Absolutely.
what they've done for us with regard to sponsoring things that we ask for,
Yep.
such as the disc golf course.
Right.
That's cheaper in the long run.
Yeah, no, you're right, absolutely.
All right, department reports. Rick? Anything?
I guess no, I think I'll just point out, well, the ceiling tile project is done, of course, that's on the agenda too, but it's done, and did a great job, just waiting for the final invoice so we can get them paid. And number 7, I met with Todd and Ellen about researching sustainable products. That, we didn't have any direction to do that, but the last department head meeting was with Sustainable Guilford, Connecticut. The presentation was all about state sustainability and, a lot of things that many departments are already doing. But I thought, maybe we should look at some of the cleaning products that we have and things in the kitchen. We're now using plasticware that is biodegradable. We never used to do that, now we do. I had the guys look into that and order that. But I need a cleaning supplies. There are some things that are more green, than what we're using now. So we have a lot of stuff in stock, so we're not going to be doing anything really quick. But one thing I learned, they said that if you get brown paper towels, like in our dispensers, instead of white, the white ones get bleached, the brown ones don't. So we're going to look into some of those things. And I said, if it's a lot more expensive, we're not going to go there. But if it's something that's reasonable, it's close, and we're trying to make an effort to be more sustainable, then let's do what we can.
Okay, any questions on this? Okay, Anthony's report, parks. Good weather, a lot of field work done,
We've
right?
been getting a lot done. In fact, Tony was toying with the idea of seeding the green this week.
Wow.
I don't think it's good. It might be a little soft, but it's that kind of unusual
So we're getting a
February,
lot of work done.
January we have it. Yeah,
For us.
yeah. The one I'll mention is they're pushing back the sand at Chittenden Boardwalk. So what happened with the winters, well, we didn't have winter storms yet, but some of the storms, the boardwalk, the boardwalk that goes to the beach over there at Chittenden, the sand was right up to the top and coming over the edge of it. So they just went back. We rented it's a small machine. It's called a dingo. It's a little machine, like a little. It's got a little bucket on it. You can walk behind it and scoop the sand and move it. So we did that and just brushed off the sand off the boardwalk there. So something we don't normally do, but it was getting a little high there, so we cut that back there.
What was the issue with the Quantum Fog light?
The lights, I think you first might have pointed it out, they're still not working properly. The flashing yellow lights as you're approaching the beach, from the south going north, they're not working. And Tony went up there and tried to adjust them, and it kept shortening out. The flashing yellow
Sometimes
works.
they would see the light, and sometimes they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Just assumed-
It's
The yellow is working?
It's the yellow diamond that has the pedestrian
Right,
warning
right. That's
with
not working.
flashing yellow lights. That and the lights for the crosswalk were both out.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I sent a note to Rick. Rick sent folks up there to take a look at it. The lights at the crosswalk are working. The lights on the yellow diamond are not working.
The state highway didn't take care of that, or?
No, it's town. They put it in or approved it going in, but the town, we have to pay for the lights and maintain it.
The ones leading up to that are still ours? The warning?
Yeah, that one I didn't think it was, but I was told that it is.
Okay.
We had people looking into that
on the
for us.
same circuit.
I thought it was DOT. It is.
Yeah.
They're like flashing yellow as just before you get to the grass, going toward the beach. But anyway, there's a company called Signal Services that put that in. They were there today. And there's some work that's got to get done, so we may have a little cost on that. Something's shorting out.
I have a question regarding Chittenden. There last Sunday, and the parking lot looks like, 1917. It looks pretty bombed out.
Oh, did you see that movie? It's a good movie.
Yeah, well, it has a lot of craters in it.
It does.
Yeah.
And I know it's not the right time of the season because we still expect snowfall, but can we do something in the interim to relieve
Yeah.
some of the
Yeah.
cratering that's in there right now?
The equipment for that. I'll give them a call.
The upside of that, it slows cars down going through the parking lot.
Yeah.
There's an
Yeah.
upside to that.
True.
Jacob's the same problem.
The Jacobs has the same problem.
Yeah.
And the only other one I would think would be at the entrance to Nut Plains, to where the dog park
Yeah.
is, that there's a little bit of a dip there that can get the front end of your
Yeah,
car.
we want to look at getting that apron paved there, like we did that at Long Hill, we did it at
Right.
Jacobs, and we got to see if we can get that paved at Nut Place. Usually it's like when there's a contractor in the area who's doing it, they'll go over and do it for us. When I say contractor, a paving contractor.
I mean, we've been blessed with not
So small.
snow for January, but the parking lot still could use some
Yeah,
attention.
we'll look at that. I know, you're not kidding, it's pretty, looks like 1917. Great movie, by the way.
Okay, recreation supervisor.
Two things I'll point out is just, look at the third bullet from the bottom, we have 7 registered for the Unified Cooking Program. That's, I don't know, is this Sunday or next? It's going to be a Sunday. Ian, who's our, part-time, our cook down there, Ian, and another woman is working with him on that, and we were happy that we have that many registered. It's a brand-new program, we're going to give it a shot.
And it's geared towards?
Special needs. And Unified, they'll be, and with typical peers, they'll be working together.
Oh, we're looking at what age?
Oh, I think it's maybe junior high, high school.
Junior high
I
school?
think,
Okay,
yeah.
That's
And it's like, I think 4 or 5 weeks, we're gonna do like maybe a salad the first week, and then, or an hors d'oeuvre or something, build up, and then at the end, have a dinner with the parents coming
Good.
here.
Just a question, what is the Juvenile Review Board?
And that's a group that Ellen is on, where they work with kids who have gotten in trouble, and they review, I think they may end up having to do community service and that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's with the police department, youth services.
It's a
and-
whole group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the intern?
Oh, intern is Chris Papa. He's only 2 afternoons a week, maybe 3, like 4 hours, 12, maybe 8 or 12 hours a week.
Okay.
He's a student at Eastern, and he needs to get a certain number of hours, so he's working with us a couple afternoons a week.
Curious.
And which one line is Tuesday, on April,
Okay.
February,
So,
yeah.
The
February 18th.
Camp Benefita. We're gonna go to 1-week sessions rather than 2-week sessions?
Yeah, evidently, that was a little surprise to me, but Ellen told me about that staff, and they said parents had requested that, to go 1-week sessions.
And is that going to be a lot more work in terms of signing these people up? We're gonna have to be signing people up now every week?
Yeah, it'll be every week instead of every other week. My guess is a lot of people are going to sign up for 2 weeks or more at a time
Yeah,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah.
What happens with the family night then? Because it was always the second week.
It was always the second week.
Yeah.
because of the
Week session,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
And I asked that question too. I guess they haven't been well attended the last couple of years, and I think they're just going to do away with those. And then every other Thursday, we've done some things like movie nights and magicians or music. We're looking at doing maybe every other Thursday, there's going to be music down there, be a concert at the beach.
Okay, any other questions on this? I will say that I thought the artwork down there from Adams was really nice. And I like the idea of putting the artwork on
That's a great idea.
downstairs. It's a great idea. It looks great.
Being in Adams, for sports things, and when my kids were there last year, I'd be amazed at the art, but, you're not often in that building. So many people don't see it, and they do amazing stuff, so that's a great
I think
idea.
Ellen's looking at some of the other schools too to see if they want to be part of that. But that was a great idea. That was good. Okay. How did we make a ski trip last week?
We had
I know,
4 injuries. Only one was
but
fairly serious.
but they're all okay.
Yeah, they're okay, yeah. One ended up having to go to the hospital, a concussion. I think one had a broken wrist, maybe, did not go to the hospital. Yeah, we had, all the trips went well. The last one, there were 4 kids that
That happens. That
got,
happens.
nothing
But
very
basically,
serious.
everybody is
Yeah.
okay. All right,
Yeah.
that was good. That's the biggest concern. Okay. Seniors report, Terry's report. Any questions? Other than that, every day's a busy day here.
Looking good.
Yeah, you see what's coming up in February.
Price is
almost,
Right,
like,
yes.
Several things a week.
Last Friday, they played Family Feud, yes, against the library.
It's on social media about that.
Oh, was there?
At the time, yeah.
It was funny, and it was a lot of fun. People enjoyed it.
And the library staff came, so Parks and Rec staff
That's
versus
where I
library
heard
staff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think some of the questions were a little out of their realm, but it's all in fun.
So that seems cool.
Okay, and then, maintenance, basically, the only thing I would like to point out is the very last one is the black square card tables. We had replaced some of the card tables already in the, Ruth Alexander Lounge, right? And so we really do need to get the other ones replaced. And the other thing is, I did talk to Todd a bit this week too about, we really do need to look at starting to get these tables replaced. They're a mess. And especially some downstairs, the plastic gets like a sharp edge on it, the chairs aren't doing so great either. So we're gonna start looking into replacing those, because they've been here 20-some-odd years.
He's been getting some comparative price in Lifetime, which is what these tables are the best price.
Yeah. So, just let people know that's where we're headed.
Under Todd's report, we talked about the hand dryers for Jacobs Beach and Lake Quannapoga. Are we going to go through with that? And
I think we should, however, I'm going to tell you this, though, when I was at a meeting, well, remember I talked about Sustainable Connecticut?
Right.
Well, I went to a seminar up in South Windsor last week, and the presentation was on from Sustainable Connecticut. And I talked to the presenter a little bit about, I said, well, what's more sustainable? What's better for greening, the electric hair dryers or paper? And he said, hand dryers, I mean. He said the electric hand dryers, the problem with those is that if there's bacteria in the bathroom, which there is, it just blows it all around.
That's right.
So, I mean, I hadn't thought about that, but
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
Supposedly, they're less sanitary than paper.
Less sanitary than wiping your hands on a
Yeah.
paper towel. Wow.
well, there are some that are out there that do actually have black light in them now.
Yes,
And
they are some. I've
ionized,
seen that.
they
Yeah.
ionize your hands as you're being, but the only reason why if we were considering doing this, I would consider here as well, if we have the right ones. If paper towels are obsolete, then why not use hand dryers in our restrooms here?
and what you call the others? Are they like a black light?
They're a black ionized, Dyson makes them.
Why don't we take it, just for yucks, let's
Yes.
take a quick,
Dyson, like
They have those
DYSA?
at the
DYSON.
for yucks, let's take a quick count here. Who likes paper towels?
I do. Now I do.
Who likes the hand dryers?
I don't see
I
any
mean,
problem with them.
for me, the only problem for me, the hand dryers, it takes too long. I don't ever
I
stay
hate
there long
them.
enough to do it.
they're really noisy. like when the library first opened, when they redid the library, I was amazed at those dryers there. They are so loud.
Well, that's old generation too.
It's like you don't even want to even use them because you're like
Yeah, you're
disturbing
right.
people that are in the library. I
So, Rick,
don't
the
know.
whole idea of getting the hair dryers was because of the fire down there?
Yeah.
Part of that, the other problem is that people take the paper towels and they line the seat with it, and then it goes in the toilet and it clogs, especially at the beaches, it clogs up. And then we end up having this,
Can't you
Everything
get
coming
those,
back
the
up.
toilet,
So why don't we provide the
yeah, they got the ones you can,
The thin one.
yeah, I know what you mean,
yeah.
yeah. Like, yeah, we get a dispenser of those, and we have them in a couple of the bathrooms here, I
I mean,
think.
if people want to vandalize something, they're just going to vandalize the hair dryers.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever's there, they're going to vandalize.
Well, I mean, we could look into these other type you're
Let's look
talking
into
about,
it and
that maybe
see.
if they're not blowing air around and maybe just heat or something, then maybe we could,
Yeah, let's look into it.
we'll look into it.
Well, that's your paper supply people.
Yeah.
With the tables, are we sticking with all like 8 foot, or are we doing a little mixture of 6 and 8?
We usually do a combination, although
Okay.
8-footers are the kind of what we need more of,
Okay.
because just
The
seat
events
capacity.
that we've had.
Yeah.
and-
Almost always we need a bigger table.
Yeah, it's a standard.
We're about ready to go. The commission's okay with us doing it. I mean, Todd's been researching it, and Lifetime seems to be the best
Good.
option.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it enough.
Yeah.
I
Enough
think
times,
we'll
Will you
do
do
it
yes.
with the
twice.
old ones? Will you try to see if anyone needs them for somewhere, or they
Well-
they have to go to?
Some of them if we retire them, we put them in a closet, and those are the ones, if we gotta go, take something outside, we take those, like on the green or the beach or whatever. If we need, we won't take the ones that are in the rooms here, we'll take the older ones.
Okay, let's go, commission and staff representative report. Standing Fields.
Standing Fields Committee did not meet in the month of January. They did not have a quorum. But they, through Rick, we found out that the new turf field up at the high school, that project is 100% complete now. The last payments have been made to the contractors, and all the releases have been signed. So,
Knock on wood.
we did, the only other thing that we've done to that field in the last 60 days is add more fill to it. So-
They did, yeah, the contractor.
The
yeah.
contractor added more fill to it to make it a more of a, I hate to use a softer landing when you fall on it, because it was a little thin. So now they beefed up the fill that's on the inside of it.
And then now our warranty starts
Warranty starts
over again?
from final completion,
Mhm.
yes. So now the next project that has to be worked on is Kavanaugh Field.
Right.
Because that one is, it's gone beyond its useful life. The useful life was 10 years, we're, what, 14 now?
Yeah, yes, 2000, what was that, 2007? It'll be in our, we're in the 13th year now.
We're in the 13th year now.
Yeah.
So, the surprise, well, it is a good field, it still has its, nap on it, but it's starting to show wear in the seams, and of course, the other problem too is the track needs to, but
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to address that.
Well, the tracks are going to be a part of the project, it's going to be, the Board of Ed's going to do that, but I think they're trying to do both together at the same time.
Yeah, it would be, yes, it would have to be done during the same time because of the amount of, the weight of the equipment that's moving back and forth over it. But the track is in need a significant amount of repair.
You said it still has a nap on it. I usually see people running on it, not napping on it.
No, nap, K-N-A-P,
Oh,
or N-A-P, whatever.
Okay, Green Committee. Anything?
no, just, we talked, when the weather's right, we're going to need to seed, especially the northwest corner up in this end. There was a lot of crabgrass last year there. The only thing else that's kind of Green Committee, not the big belly trash barrels. We have them, they've been ordered, we have them, the money was raised privately
Right.
for, and there's still a lot of debate on where they're going to go. We got approval to put them on the southwest corner of the green, like across from Cilantro's down there. There's some who want to have it on the sidewalks, there are other store owners who don't want it on the sidewalk. So Brian McGlone and I had a conversation today, and Brian, somebody just tell us where they want it, we'll put it out, we have them. We're just ready to put them out, but there's, some want them there, some don't want them there, and, you know, we got the approval from the Green Committee and the Board of Selectmen to put it on the green, and I think that's probably where it's gonna end up going, but there's some that would rather have it on the sidewalk.
So how many would there be if it was a southwest corner?
There are two, so they're side by side, one's recycled, one's trash. They have to go side by side, and we had thought if they could be split, there was a way we could do it, that we found a spot, you know, by the stores we could do it, but they have to be together because of the wiring or something. And
So the one's not gonna go like on the sidewalk where the businesses are?
No, we're trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
But you don't mean there's two pieces, but you just said one's recycling and one's
One's
They're
garbage.
side by side, two different units.
And they're clearly
Right.
marked, because we always
Yes.
have that, people
Yeah.
get confused of what goes where, and then,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're solar powered, and the one the trash one compacts it down. Recycling doesn't, but the trash one compacts it. And it has a program that would, it'll be on Tony's phone, I guess, and it would just say, hey, Tony, I'm half full, you know, or I'm almost full, come empty me.
There'll be a joke there too.
Bless you.
Thank you.
A lot of trash talk going here.
Yeah.
Bring it on, trash. We always talk trash talk.
So, speaking of trash talk now. Land acquisition, anything happening?
Nothing
No.
to report to you guys.
Okay, community center improvements we have talked about. Which brings us to our
Splash pad.
splash pad.
Because I know you guys want to hear me again.
Well, new things have happened, so yes, I think they do
it
want to hear it
has.
again.
So last week, the Splash Pad Committee and Rick met with some residents from the Jacobs Beach area. And it was a great conversation with all of them. A lot of it was misconception of what the splash pad is. So I think a lot of them were put at ease. They got to see the drawings that we have. We answered questions. We bounced ideas off of each other. So I think it was a really productive meeting. As far as fundraising goes, they're doing an amazing job. It went from 0 to 100, I think, quite quickly. So here's a lineup. They just had their first cooking class last Saturday. It was a kids' cooking class. It was well attended, which was great. And that one is such a great lesson for our kids because not only are they giving back to something that they're going to actually use, but they also got to learn a skill that they need in life. Thursday, the 6th, there's a bar class, fitness class in Madison. There's a Pampered Chef fundraiser going on. There on Tuesday, the 25th, there's a paint night at the VFW, and that's a picture of the grass
Grass
island from Jacobs, so you get the beach and the hut. We just kicked off this weekend. There's a Dunkin' Donuts box, and no, I'm not that hungry. But Dunkin' Donuts, the DeAndrea group, was nice enough to do a fundraiser for us. So they made special donuts that look like a splash of water. So they're selling those from this past Sunday to the
that's great.
18th? This whole week. So a portion of every sale of this donut will go to the splash pad. We've gotten private donations, and then on Bishop's is our newest one that just kicked off as well, which is amazing. So if you shop at Bishop's, when you go to the register, they're going to ask you if you'd like to round up your transaction. And that will go to the splash pad. And they launched that this weekend, and in just 2 days, it was $400 that was raised. And they're going to do that until the 16th. If you're looking for something to do pre-Valentine's, miss the hoopla of Valentine's, you can go to the Casey's Pub, and they will donate 20% of your bill to the splash pad. So it's takeout, lunch, and dinner that they'll do that.
And what day is that?
February 13th.
February 13th, afternoon.
Thursday.
Yes.
Sunday the 23rd, Snip Snaps near McDonald's is doing a cut-a-thon. And then a local realtor here, Heidi DeRosa, she's donating 10% of her net profits from houses bought or sold in Guilford in the month of February. So there's a lot of excitement across town Another one, Guilford Lakes, is gonna do their best to support the splash pad by making a donation from fundraisers that they're doing. So, we are in the stages of fundraising. We are very positive in that we think that we will get the money to complete this project for this summer. We're staying positive and on track. We are meeting with the design review committee to show them our design. That was a courtesy. It was not required, but we are going to do that for them. And then we have to meet, what's our next one after that? That's,
Well, the CAM application.
oh, the CAM application is still coming in.
Once that comes back, then be the presentation to planning and zoning.
Yes, so things are rocking and rolling, hopefully. So you guys, please have a donut.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
My favorite subject. I'm reviewing the map here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as far as the parking goes, I mean, we're not a for-profit organization. We're not Disney World.
Right.
And it's
Can
not
I stop you though?
You go ahead.
The splash pad is not anything to do with that. That's
Oh,
that's not part of our project.
oh, got it. Okay.
But that is, because we were adding on, we felt that.
Yeah.
But it's from what I hear, that is not all going to be parking. That was overzealous. That's as much as we could do in that
Okay,
space,
good.
but not what we're planning,
Yeah.
or the commission is planning to do.
I think it's a bad idea. I mean, look, that's a lot of cars. I mean, let's say if you fill that thing up, it's going to be a nightmare down there.
We do it all the time.
We're not
It's done
looking
now,
to
though.
So
Without
any
so
order.
The parking there, right now, if you come down for Summer Sizzler in June, there is overflow, and they direct you to park on the grass, and that will all be filled.
yeah, I mean,
Soccer Fest,
I'm
that
not
will
down.
all be.
I'm down there all summer. You know, and I've never. Usually, I'm down there during the week, but I've never seen. So you're saying it gets filled?
we have.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
for special events.
When there's
absolutely.
special events
But,
there, yes.
and the thing about it, having it laid out, though, is it would make it more orderly, because I have
Yes.
definitely been trapped in
Okay,
the
so I
parking there,
stay
because
so
people
it's been-
don't have guidance as to where to
Yes.
go, so it would be much.
So you're literally saying that this whole area is filled up for
Yes.
events? Wow. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But Larry, understand, nothing is going to be.
It's not
overflow is
paving.
all
Yeah, they're not
grass.
paving.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
For when they
Okay.
absolutely need it.
But I don't go down there as much as I do Lake Quinnipiac. But the times that I've gone down there for the concerts, or Summer Sizzler, Soccer Fest,
Yeah.
Any
the
senior
parking
events that we have down there, same thing.
is,
And that gets bad. That gets wet down there. That area.
yeah, and when it's wet, there's no parking, really. I mean,
No.
they shut it down so that
Yeah.
you can't park there.
And do a lot
But-
of people park over at Chittenden too? Because
People
I mean,
will,
obviously
It's
yeah.
filled, that fills up very
many
quickly,
spaces
it's
there.
not huge.
Yeah.
But that was, the developer did that, and showed the total amount of cars.
Yes.
But, I mean, as far as,
Yeah.
we've looked at it, that, like, we don't want to do that
Yeah.
because we use a lot of that land, too.
Yeah.
You know, for
Yeah,
camp.
if you got cars parking, it must make a mess of it, right? You have cars parking it now?
That whole area would encroach some on where camp is set up, so we kind of left it at that. I've talked to him, he did a revised plan, I'm not sure which one he had there, but I said, well, all right, it doesn't hurt to get all approved, we're not going to use it all. We don't want to use it all, because we need
Yeah.
it for camp. So it'll be cut back somewhat. We just want to say, this is an idea of where additional parking can go.
Yeah, I mean, what I would encourage was like, to cut some of that off area off, don't let any cars go on it, and just force people to go over to Chittenden. I mean, you're walking, I mean, to keep them off the grass, off the property, and have them literally, instead of parking on the grass, which is not a parking lot, to have them park over Chittenden, which is a parking lot.
The downside when people park at Chittenden, it's hard to collect a fee from them. They're
Yeah.
supposed, because it's not a parking fee, it's a fee to come in and use the beach.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
fee, it's a fee for the park.
So that's an issue, okay.
And,
But I think when we have these festivals and things down there,
Yeah.
we don't charge for the parking.
no, for those
But,
we don't.
but
And
it
people
fills,
do
it
park
fills
at
up over there
Chittenden
quickly
already.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it does fill up there before
Yeah.
they even start the overflow. People do that automatically.
They do go to Chittenden.
Oh, yeah,
They
people
do,
Okay, okay.
they do. I mean, that's
Alright.
filled, and then they're still coming looking for more space. That
Alright.
absolutely does get used.
Oh, and the only other thing I want to mention about the splash pad, the meeting we had with the residents from down there. One of the questions was a concern about using concrete, and had there been injuries on the concrete. We did look into it, and Clinton, Milford, and what's the third one? Old Saybrook. They all have concrete, and they have no injuries reported to them. Milford actually did a paint on top of theirs, and it made it too slippery, so they have had to redo it. None of them have had to redo anything with their concrete. It's been fine. Milford also has used the foam rubber padding at other areas, and with the bacteria, the cleaning, and all of that, and they're going to have to replace it only after 5 years. So, still going with the concrete has been the best.
How about a bubble wrap dispensary for the children? We can just wrap them in the bubble wrap.
Yeah.
We can do that
We can
too.
try.
I know you all favor the concrete. I'm still not sold on it for two reasons. Number one, if there's a problem with the plumbing underneath, ripping the concrete out is going to be expensive to replace. And the second thing is that I'm not convinced that concrete laying on top of sand is not going to cause cracking. The reason I'm thinking that is I just look at the tennis courts up at the high school. That has a subsoil and sub-rock underneath it, and those tennis courts are full concrete, and they are cracked from just plain settling. So I'm just concerned about frost heaving and just general the fact that you're on sifting sand rather than a firm base.
We hired experts, and this is what they do for a living, so.
Well, we also
I would assume
hired
the
experts
experts are
to
going to get it right.
to the tennis courts,
and
too.
There'll be a warranty, I assume, on the surface. I mean,
Yeah.
we're
There will be
laminators,
some
we're not,
base.
I mean,
And the Clinton one is on the sand, and it's concrete.
How long has it been there?
5 years? Yeah.
There will be some base, and the tennis courts at the high school are asphalt, not concrete. And so concrete that's why we went with post-tension concrete for the skate park.
Okay.
It has a 20-year life on it, or 30-year life,
stand
20-year
corrected
warranty. The asphalt cracks. Yeah, so this should be okay. I mean, they're all made out of concrete, at least I think all the ones in Connecticut, you guys have seen them.
Well, as I said, where my daughter lives up in Clinton, Massachusetts, they have a splash pad. They had to rip up half of it because they had plumbing problems underneath it. And, it just wasn't the same anymore. So I'm just, again, concrete on sand just seems to be a challenge.
Yeah, Claire will double check.
Okay, I would appreciate it.
Do we know what the warranty is, Claire, like if they,
I will check on that.
yeah,
too.
just curious.
On the concrete or on the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the splash pad?
Nope.
Okay, unfinished business, the ADA at Chaffinch and Quantico.
So Chapman's, I met there with Kevin McGee and Aaron Mannix, and we do need to get a CAM application. They said we need to have a survey and a natural diversity database study. So it's going to take some time and some cost. So I met with Todd Anderson from Anderson Engineering there, and I'm just waiting. I haven't gotten a cost from him yet for the estimate. I said, we don't need to survey the entire park, just the parking lot and that area. That's all we need. So it shouldn't be too much, I would hope, but I haven't gotten it yet. And I'm going to look to him to maybe also give me a price if he did the CAM application and the natural diversity database, or sub that out to somebody, because, I can't do it. I don't, you need somebody who's got expertise in that.
what does CAM stand for?
Coastal Area Management Plan. So it's something that if you're near the water, you need to get this through the state has to approve it, and then whatever comments they have, it comes back, and then it goes to planning and zoning. Same thing we're doing with the splash pad.
Can I ask a question about this?
Sure.
So, Board of Selectmen have made it very clear that they're in charge of parking lots. So, would ADA access from a parking lot to your park not fall under parking lots? I'm just
Well,
throwing it out there.
Yeah, the ADA parking, I guess, but the work is being done off the parking lot, through the grass there. It's probably 60 feet maybe, it's not a long, just to get people so they can,
Right.
somebody's in a wheelchair, they can get to a picnic table.
So really, it's just not gonna go through the parking lot very much. Quantapug,
It's a tough one, I'm not
It's
sure
a
what
tough
to.
one. We're
yeah,
still not sure.
I'm not sure how we're gonna be
That
able to
one's-
handle it.
Yeah, that's a big issue.
that's an issue, so, we're still talking about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, ceiling tile that's been replaced, it's done,
Completely?
completely done,
Awesome.
right?
I haven't been down there.
They're replacing the speaker, I think that's the only thing that has to
Speaker,
be
yeah,
done.
speaker, we
They're
got a
gonna
new sound
replace
system,
the
but
new
the
sound
speaker's gotta get
system, so they're
replaced.
gonna replace the speaker that's up there, but that's it, other than that, we're done.
It's gonna still be in the same frame, this there's just new insides for the
Insert.
speaker.
Okay. All right, disc golf expansion, how's that coming?
It's coming along. The long fairways are being worked on, in the last couple of weeks, because we haven't had snow. The guys have had time. This is usually we do brush clearing anyway, and they're doing some of it at Bittner Park. And I know our designer wants to run a pro-level tournament March 21st. We have it scheduled there. I think he's going to borrow some baskets. We're not going to get new baskets for that. He's going to borrow them like he did once before and put them to make the longer fairways. It's a big difference. I mean, the longer ones for the pros are going to like it.
Okay.
We've heard a lot of positive comments from people who play disc golf a lot, and they've been up there. They love the course. They love the potential for expansion for it. So we're always going to still have the short course for recreational golfers, but those who are really good and want to come and play a more challenging course, they'll have the longer fairways to play on. So it's coming
Been a
along.
good winter for it.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
happens, Rick, so when there's a tournament going on and then say someone just wants to come to play? How does that work?
I think they probably wouldn't be able to play if there's a tournament. I mean, just like there's a tournament on a soccer field.
okay.
Soccer,
But
no
we'll
one else can go
publish
play on
it
it.
on the
Yeah.
town page so people are
People will
aware.
know.
Yeah.
Or like on the board down here or anything.
Yeah, or up there at the kiosk, tournament in play or whatever. Yeah, that would have to be made known. 'Cause I think that if you have a recreational player trying to just kind of, plod through the woods and these good guys are up there, they're going to be in the way.
Rick, so why do we need to do new baskets? Like, so we have baskets there, they can just move them, but the holes haven't been dug yet, I take it?
Right,
So they gotta bring in temporary baskets, I take it?
Correct.
All right.
yeah. And eventually, they want to have, I think they want to have second tees. So far, T-pads. I told Craig, the commission's approved the extended fairway and to put we have extra sleeves for the baskets, and other tees have not been approved yet. So he said, well, that's okay, for the tournament, they can throw it from the dirt. I mean, it's not a big deal, but eventually, he's going to want to come back and ask for second T-pads. I said, well, let's see how it goes. We've only been open for 3 months.
When do we plan on putting the new holes in for the pro level? Like to dig the holes and to be able, to take the basket, move it from the recreational to the, when are we gonna do those holes?
Do we move them?
No, we didn't yet, no. We have this extra sleeves. We bought the extra sleeves when we bought the baskets to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But it's still not all laid out yet. Once it's all laid out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's good. He's really good at designing this, but he wants to bring a couple other guys who are disc golfers that are like.
Before they actually start digging it.
And then start thinking
Yeah.
about, because right now he has a stake, and they may practice a little bit, say, hey, you know what, let's move that stake 10 feet over this way, or let's put it in front of the tree or behind the tree or whatever.
Right.
So he wants to just get input from a few other people before he finalizes the actual location.
All right.
Once we know where that is, then or if we get a scout project, can put the sleeves in. But that's not that won't happen before March 21st.
Do we, on our kiosk, are we driving business to Guilford Sporting Goods and Pages for discs?
Pages, Guilford Sporting Goods, I don't think they have the discs. Pages does. And they actually almost sold out at one point, and they reordered more. They invited Todd and me to come to one of their meetings, like their monthly staff meetings, to give a presentation about the disc golf course, and they're all very attentive about it. And they have a whole display there, and they don't have it up now. They took it down for the winter, but I know they said they almost sold out, had to order more a couple times, so people are using it.
Good.
Yeah, and it's good. I mean, they're one of the sponsors. Like you were saying earlier, let's give them some business.
I assume for the, tournament thing on the 21st, there's a charge for it?
Yeah.
But where does that go, or what is it for?
Some of the money's going to go to Meals on Wheels, and some of it's going to come back to us to go into the disc golf course. And I think, if it's going to be a pro-level tournament, there's prize money, so, some of it goes out to that. Yeah.
Win-win all
It really is. I mean, it's really beautiful.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right, the peddler's ordinance. What does this mean?
I passed them out.
I see. This is the new ordinance or the old?
Yeah, the new one, you might have looked at this when it first came out, but I thought as a reminder, I think what's really important is page 3, number 5 there. I underlined some things, it's identified, where this could happen. And what really brought this to my attention really recently is that there's a new hot dog vendor in town. He's been setting up on Whitfield Street, Park Street, kind of near the bank down there, he and his wife. They're, I'd say, probably near retirement age, and I think they're looking to just do this as kind of a fun business on the side or whatever. But then he came because he wanted to ask me about how do I get in to do this at Jacobs Beach. And I didn't really have an answer because I told him how we used to do it, but it's different now. It's a whole new ordinance. And so I'm not sure how this is going to happen because according to this, it's just going to be first come, first serve. So whoever gets in line first gets there, they got it. And I'm not sure who's going to monitor that.
Have we talked with the Board of Selectmen about this in terms of the timing and everything? About not having the vendors down there during camp times? Are they aware of all of this? Have we talked
When they
to them
had
about this?
I was there at the meeting. I didn't even know they were having a public hearing on this, but I happened to be there for something else, for other Parks and Rec business, and I saw that it came up, and so I told them that we would have some real problems with it being at Lake Quantapug, for one thing, because it'd have to be in the parking lot.
Yes.
People running across the highway. And I said that at Jacobs, we've never wanted vendors there when camp's in session. We've never allowed the ice cream vendor to be there because, again, it's a distraction. Kids are running to the truck, or they're bumming money off the counselors. So we told them they couldn't come till 3:15 or 3:30, whenever the parents come, pick the kids up. That's when the ice cream vendor can be there. Then the parents can decide if they want to buy something for the kids. And so I'm not sure how that rule's going to go now, because it's kind of not under our jurisdiction anymore.
Yeah, I sent an email to the Board of Selectmen back in November when this came about. And I had about 7 or 8 questions for them, and I have not gotten response. So I am meeting with Matt to put these right there.
So you're
So
gonna do
if
that?
there are any other questions, I'll share them with you guys, and if you have any other concerns or questions that should be brought up, then I'll do it all at once.
Yeah, like we did, first come, first served,
Yeah,
that's ripe for.
That's inviting trouble.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't make that our gate guard's
No.
responsibility. I mean, these kids are 15, 16, 17 years old, like, that's not their job. So that was one of my major concerns on here, and then the fact that we haven't allowed it with camp.
Yeah, and I think that should stay that way.
Yeah.
It should not be there when camp's going on.
Can't they just put it out the bid, put out the bid for Jacobs Beach?
That's
Well,
what we
that's
had.
not our
And we,
decision.
that
Was
was,
that-
but
that's how we
did
used
it.
to
That's how we've
have
been doing
it.
it. We've
But
been
we
doing it for
can't do it anymore because
20-something years
they
like that.
have jurisdiction over parking lots.
And there might be a reason too, so, but let's see.
Yep.
Do you have a date for the meeting? Do you have a-
Nope, but I will let you know when I'm going, so if anyone would like to come with me,
Yeah.
they may.
If I'm available, I will come with you.
Okay.
I think we'll make it work. We just got to find out.
We just
Absolutely.
need
Clear out
to,
the
yeah, it's not that we
parameters.
don't want it, we just
Yeah.
need to be careful about how we
Yeah.
do it. Except for Quantapug, then it's really a problem.
This is 3, is there a page 2?
Should be on the back.
Well, that's,
Oh.
Three seems to be
Well, 3,
important.
no, I guess, there is.
I
but
have
that's-
1 and 3.
they must have numbered it
Yeah, I
wrong.
think, you know what?
Because Rick didn't do the numbering, I'm sure.
No, I didn't. No,
Oh,
I
I
think
think it's
when
numbered wrong,
somebody
because it
copied
goes
it,
forward.
it was on the back.
There's something
And I
else
think
on
when
the
they ran
back?
through the
Oh, no,
printer,
there is something
yeah, they
else.
noticed that.
So
Yeah, but
should there be a page?
there should be a page 2. But 5, number 5
5
is
is
the
really
most
what the
appropriate
deal
to
is.
us anyway.
Okay.
Applicable.
Yeah, because it goes from VDOT, so, all right. So just keep us in the loop, if you would.
Yeah.
Okay, now, regulations and ordinance for parking lots. Why is that there?
Because remember we had asked for something for Lake Quantapug regarding the tents, no tents and cooking in the parking lots, and I don't know if we
Right,
got
don't
anything
worry about
yet.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me know when
Got
your
that?
meeting is, we'll take care of that too. Okay. We'll check into that. Okay. So, our capital improvements budget. So here's what's happened. Rick and I met with Matt and Mary Jane. So we have to, see if I'm right. Oh, do you have this all written out?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
I'm sorry, I ended up going to do it now or later, but it's,
Okay.
Wanna talk about it?
Well, I just want to touch on the capital improvements right now. So basically, what's happened is we have put off till next year either, right, the slit drains, that we were gonna put where, Rick, at,
well, the slit drain we're going to do, we're putting off the Cox.
we're putting off the Cox. We had to
yeah.
choose one or the other, is what I'm trying to tell you. So we had to choose one or the other. You were gonna check into it
I did,
to see which one, and
Yeah.
apparently we're going to put off the lower Cox.
correct,
So that's going to go to next year.
yes,
21, 22?
yes.
Right. And then we were going to put off the roller and the trailer under equipment
Yeah, you got to push back to next year.
to next year.
21,
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, when Rick and I met with them, and I think we told you this at our last meeting, we sort of took off the design for the parking garage and the money for the parking garage, because as we
Park
heard
garage.
from Park
Don't
Garage.
tell-
Park
No, it's
Garage,
not a
I'm sorry.
parking garage.
Park Garage. I know.
Parking garage?
Park Garage, my mistake. As Gary McElhenney said last month, the town is looking into that, so it's really sort of out of our hands, and so we took that out of here. And we asked that they would move up the Adams tennis courts and the pickleball courts. So we had to do a little negotiating with them, and as it turns out, they will keep in the rebuilding of Adams tennis courts if we will pay for the construction of the pickleball courts. So we sort of agreed that we can do that.
What are the number of new pickleball courts that will be constructed?
Well, we're hoping 4, but we got to measure and see if we can get that many in over there, because it might be getting close to the wetlands, you know, on
Right.
that border there.
What will that do with regard to parking?
We said we had to look into that. So this
Yeah.
is going to be a bit of looking into. This is
Right.
not something we're going to just,
Do we have the ability to pave over the land that goes up to the tennis courts from the street?
and again, we have to,
Okay.
this is
What's
research
this?
we have to do. This is things we just
Uh-oh.
put in here. So
Might-
we
might
haven't
make
really
it-
done, we haven't done the close studies that have to go with this yet. This is just the big picture. So, and we can't do anything until the budget gets approved. Once the budget's approved, then we can start to look at all those questions, John, and come up with answers and figure out what we can and can't do.
As Rose, you know specialty use parking?
Yes, we do.
Okay, there's plenty of parking at Adams. They can
Well,
park their car.
depends on when you go to
They can
Adams.
park their
We're
car
not
on Route
gonna argue.
77 on that side of the school, and they could walk across the
If
field.
there's no school.
Not during school hours.
Not during school hours if you're playing pickleball or
Okay,
tennis.
okay.
So,
Well, maybe maybe get an exemption.
so we'll see. We'll see.
Plenty of parking in town. Plenty, we just gotta use it.
Okay.
Well, if we put sidewalks in, we could walk at,
The commuter
from
parking lot.
Stations Hollow, but we don't have,
Parking lot.
we don't have sidewalks.
Okay.
This
All right,
town
so-
doesn't like to drive slow on roads that should be slow either, because I've been thrown my life.
So that's sort of how we stand with capital improvements. Okay. New business, boiler replacement.
So we just finished the ceiling. And now we're working on boilers. The pre-bid walkthrough is this Thursday, where anybody who wants to bid on has to be here for that. And then the bid opening is, I don't know the exact date, I think it's around February 19th. It's later in February, after a couple of weeks, would be the bid opening. But they have to be at the walkthrough to be able to bid on it. And the designer from Silver Petroselli will be here for the walkthrough, so if there's any questions about, the design or anything, he'll be here to answer those questions. So we're doing that on Thursday morning at 9.
This is in our current budget?
It is, yeah. It's actually coming out of, I think it's coming out of the energy efficiency budget or something. It's not actually in our budget, but it's in a town budget.
It's in the town budget?
Yeah, it's not actually
It's
our
not
budget.
isolated to our
No.
budget?
No. it was a budget for all kinds of energy efficiency stuff, like the windows that we did here a couple of years ago, that was in there. Some of the HVAC upgrades were in there.
Rick, you have to abide by at least three bids. Right? Usually it's three bids.
Yeah, but sometimes only one or two
I
people
know,
bid.
that's-
Yeah, if that's all we get.
So
it's-
maybe we give you a courtesy bid?
It might. I mean, it's interesting. When we bid these things out, like the ceiling tile project, the range was huge. I mean, between 80,000 and like 200 and something $1,000. Big difference. And usually the big ones are either big companies or they don't really want to work. They're busy, you know.
Okay. Okay, it is that time of year where we need to re-elect our chair and vice chair. So, I would like to nominate Rose as continuing to be our chair, and Claire continuing to be our vice chairwoman. Do you agree with those?
Keep it as is.
Second? I think it's working.
Second.
Any other nominations?
Enthusiastic second.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye. Congratulations. And thank you for your
I
service.
remember when we set you up for this. Okay, so, we need a motion to go into executive session, and, actually, do you have some, wait, excuse me, other new
Jim,
business?
for new business. Have the dates and been set up for the concert series for the summer and any
Yes. Dates are
attractions?
set up. Dates are set, and we're working on bands now. Again, you know, we go with tribute bands mostly. We're looking at a Simon & Garfunkel, Eagles, which we had an Eagles group a couple of years ago, which were phenomenal.
Good, yeah.
Boy, trying to think of the other one. Doobie Brothers, called Doobie Others. They're really good. I was trying to get a Three Dog Night. The harmonies were just unbelievable. But they're none of them are available. Not available any of the dates that we have. I don't remember the dates off the top of my head, John, because, you know, there's some weekends we can't do it because of Shakespeare.
but
and-
they didn't do it last year, so we have to check and see if they're gonna do that this
Yeah.
year, and what the story is.
They're back this year.
It is back this year?
Oh, I don't know, I thought you.
That's what I just, we have to
I'm
check
not
and see
sure,
if
yeah,
that's
but
coming back,
generally,
so.
you know, those weekends we haven't been able to do it, or the.
But we should check that pretty quickly, because if not, that's a fourth concert.
Right.
Or an additional concert. So we just need to.
Do you have some thoughts or some groups?
The ones you had 2 years ago, the Motown group was exceptional.
Yeah.
If you could bring them back. That was probably the most attended of the 4 that we had that year.
It was good, yeah, we had them 2 years in a row, because the first year they got
They
partially
got rained out,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, that was disappointing.
Okay.
Okay, a
Jimmy,
motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Kathy, we're not taking any,
Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you for the donut.
what are the other?
Thank you.
We're not doing any
Voting.
voting, so you don't need to stay either. Yes.
Midnight.
Oh,
Yeah.